What's going on, everyone? Coming to you with yet another knife review, trying to crank these out as much as I can. This one is on a now discontinued and harder to find knife, but I want to talk about it because I feel like it has some significance in the realm of budget folding knives. So this is the Mingren Model 910 Plus, and this knife generated some controversy back in the day because there was a fake Sanrenmu website that had this knife listed as one of their products. And depending on who you ask, Mingren was either a knockoff of Sanrenmu, rather, or they were a genuine Sanrenmu-made product that was just getting ahead of themselves in advertising. There was a whole debacle back in the day, and if you were there, you remember people saying, this is a Sanrenmu knife, and other people saying, it's not a Sanrenmu knife. Well, regardless of all that, I'm going to review the knife as it exists as a knife, and maybe in the future I'll compare it against a Sanrenmu Model 910 series. So I'll probably make a comparison video showing them off side by side that way. But I want to focus on just this knife as it is by itself. So let's go ahead and look at the packaging. Here's the box it comes in. We have our Chinese characters here. On the side it says high performance knives. High performance knives. It just says Mingren down here. And down here it says 910 Plus 12C27 Black. We open this up and just some plastic. The knife came in on the inside. So nothing crazy there. That's the packaging. Just wanted to show you guys how it came. Let's jump into the knife as it is, starting with that blade. So we have a 3.5-inch 12C27 Sebenza drop point style hollow ground blade. Now, I raved about how good the 12C27 blade in the Sanrenmu Land Model 911 was, and how well it held an edge, and how well it performed. Can I say the same thing about the Mingren Model 910? No. If I'm being blunt, no, I can't. This is an example of 12C27 done poorly, if it really even is 12C27 as Mingren was claiming. Honestly, this performs a hell of a lot closer to a 440A, 7CR17 MOV, AUS 6, something in that general range, than it does a Sandvik 12C27 that's been properly treated. Now, it could just be that it is 12C27 that had a poor heat treat, or it could be that it's actually a lower quality steel that just has a marking claiming it to be something that it is not. So you can see the stamp there that says 12C27 and then 910 Plus in the corner down there. This thing does not hold a very good edge. I'm talking dulling after maybe 40, 50 passes through cardboard, which is actually to say that it dulls a little faster than the majority of my well heat-treated 7CR17 and 440A blades. Okay, so I think it's somewhere in that range. I think it is probably more than likely a 440A level blade, just with a shoddy heat treat, or it's a really poorly treated 12C27. So, just being blunt there. However, it has had outstanding rust resistance. I've not had a single issue with this thing trying to develop any rust spots, and I have not been taking incredibly good care of it either. It's just kind of a knife that I own and I throw around. So there is that. It sharpens incredibly readily. It takes a razor-sharp edge. It just doesn't hold that razor-sharp edge. And it does slice incredibly well. This hollow ground blade does a great job of cleaving through cardboard. So I'm going to give credit where it's due. The tip, very fine, very pointy, excellent for opening up clamshells, opening up bubble mailers, whatever you need the tip of your knife to do. Just know that because it is so fine, it is also probably more delicate, and you could snap it off if you're not being careful. By the way, there's the blade stamp showing the Mingren logo, and I'm not actually sure what that is. If someone knows, let me know in the comment section down below what that stamp is for. My first thought was maybe this is some form of military stamp, but I couldn't find it anywhere online. So, let me know if you guys know what that stamp is. Again, here's the other side. See those markings again, 910 Plus 12C27, and you can see how you can actually remove the thumb stud, which is cool if you use a consistent angle sharpener. Take that out, rest that flat there, and then you can work your consistent angle sharpener. It is a nice touch. However, the downside is these thumb studs are awful. I mean, look at that. It's just literally a steel cylinder. There's no grip, there's no texturing, there's no knurling, nothing. So, yeah, you can get on there, but it doesn't provide the greatest grip. And in deployment and lockup, it's also so-so. Sometimes it can get it deployed just fine, and other times it binds randomly in the pivot point. And this is running on Teflon washers, by the way. So maybe that's the reason for it, but I can't get a consistent deployment. Sometimes it really wants to fly, and sometimes it really doesn't. I'll use the exact same technique several times in a row and just get different results with this. So deployment is not great. Lockup, I have no play up and down. I have no play side to side. So being completely fair, it does lock up tightly. There, it is a liner lock design. There is your engagement, kind of a mid-engagement on that liner lock. And this is not the version of the Mingren 910 that had a CRKT locks type system. There was a version that had this same type of system, just, mounted here in the same spot. This is not that version. This is an earlier version that didn't have it. So just know that if you buy one of these knives, it may or may not have that locks type system. Overall, though, the liner lock itself is jimped nicely, and there's a big cutaway from the handle scales to easily access it, so that is nice. It's easy to disengage. Centering is poor on this knife. You can see it's damn near rubbing. Possibly is rubbing, actually. No, it looks like it's just barely clearing it, that liner. So really piss poor centering on this. And maybe I could toy with that pivot point to try to get it out there. It is a single-sided pivot. Maybe you could crank that down, but I don't want to risk making this knife even harder to deploy than it already is. So I really don't want to mess with that. The handle is 4 3/4 inches long. It is made out of G10, and this is some of the slickest G10 I've ever come across. I'm still going to say it's medium traction because it still provides better grip than a stainless steel or aluminum handled knife is going to provide you in most cases. It's just one of the slicker G10 handles I've ever handled. Being 4 3/4 inches long, though, it is nice and large. It gives you plenty of room to grab the knife, and I'd be lying if I said this thing wasn't damn ergonomic in the hand. I mean, it's super comfortable in the hand. So it does have that going for it. Jimping top spine of the knife, you can see it's cut very, very shallow. It does virtually nothing. Doesn't really give us any grip. It's not a very good job. Same with the jimping on the liners. A little more effective there, but still not by much. We also have it back here on this section. We do have some skeletonizing on the stainless steel liners. Not a whole hell of a lot, but a little bit of it there, which gives this knife a weight of 4.7 ounces, which is honestly not too bad. For the size of knife that this is, the weight could be a lot worse. The pocket clip is the old Benchmade style clip, and it is reversible left and right hand side. Here is the way that it's designed. Good amount of clearance between the handle scale and the clip there, so it can easily accommodate thicker pants. And it's not flared up too much at the end either, so it's not likely to snag on things. It also has excellent tension. If I bring in the pocket to show you how it carries, you can see there. I personally love how much knife is exposed in the pocket to extract the knife with, and I also love that this is mounted with 3 screws, because I always felt that single screw clips run the risk of loosening and becoming wobbly over time. Even if you crank it down, I've still had them kind of wiggle back and forth. It is also reversible to the left-hand side, making this a fully ambidextrous knife. You can see that there is a lanyard hole here, which is obviously large enough to accommodate 550 cord. I did not make this lanyard. It came on the knife whenever I bought it, but I'm not going to complain. It does do its job. I don't really think this knife needs a lanyard, though, because we do have so much exposed. But it can also, this one, in this case, could be folded backwards like so, and I could use it for an even more ergonomic grip if I needed to. Maybe I could flip it around front, do it like that, and that's actually super comfy, so I don't see a reason to take this off. It didn't come stock on the knife, but I did buy the knife used, and I did have it on there whenever I bought it. Flow-through pillar design, so it's very easy to clean out if you get any kind of gunk in there. But there's a problem with this knife besides the poor centering and the lackluster blade steel, and that is that it doesn't feel nearly as nice or high quality. I mean, it feels ergonomic, but there are several fit and finish issues that scream, this is not a high-quality knife. Okay, even for the price range that it sat in, which is around 25 bucks at the time. Nowadays, you'll pay closer to 40 or 50 for one. And that is just the way it's finished. It's kind of rough, and it's hard to show on camera, but when you feel it, you know, it's very obvious. It's just something you have to handle to really know. The blade feels poorly finished. The handle scales don't feel very well finished. It just has a certain feeling of cheapness to it, which is not going to be found in all knives at this price range. I mean, hell, I raved about how this thing felt in hand and how quality that it felt. This is the Sanrenmu Land Model 911, part of their 910 series. This is an outstanding knife, which, by the way, brings us to the competitive options segment of the video. This thing is better in every way than that. It really is. It's just a far better knife. It's even more ergonomic in hand. The 12C27 on this blade holds up far better, has better thumb studs, has far better centering, uses a ball bearing system, comes out so wicked smooth and fast every single time. Also a reversible clip, though admittedly, okay, I do prefer the clip on the Mingren, I guess, if I'm being honest. But overall, the Sanrenmu Land 910 series blows away the Mingren. Here's that Enlin model EL06, 9CR 18MOV blade, G10 handles, stainless steel liner lock, right hand tip-up carry only clip, price range about 20 bucks. This is very similar in size, cost, design, and everything else to the Mingren, and this also dominates this. I would rather have this all day, even though I mentioned there were issues with this knife in its review. This is still a far better blade than the Mingren. How about the, what I call Git Key 24 GTKII GTK24? Chinese D2 blade on this one. Reversible pocket clip left and right hand side. Same design on that pocket clip as well. Overall, the same Sebenza copy design that we see. Better thumb studs on this one. Better steel, this Chinese D2. Now, I'm not a big fan of D2, and I've mentioned that several times before, but it's hard to deny that it holds a much better edge than that does. And the blackwashing also helps it to be more rust-resistant than an average D2 might be. This is a great knife, about 22 bucks. Yeah, that's a competitive option for sure. Sanrenmu, model 9202, Chinese D2 blade, G10 handles, Axis type lock, super smooth deployment, great lockup, price about 30 bucks. Yeah, this also decimates the Mingren in so many ways. Now, how about a Gonzo? We got the model G729, 440C blade, G10 handles, Axis type lock, two-way reversible clip, crazy ergonomic in hand, full flat ground, paramilitary style blade. Yeah, definitely a competitive option. And then one more, how about an older one? Another discontinued, hard to find knife, just because I can. The Colt M4. Colt M4K. Now this is the more modern version. This is not the old American-made version with 440A. This is the Chinese-made version in 8CR 13MOV. Okay, Microtech SOCOM design. Had a misdeploy there, but pretty good deployment. Better steel on this Colt. Right-hand tip-down only carry clip. Very ergonomic in hand. I'd pick the Colt over the Mingren. I absolutely 100% every day of the week I would. Every single competitive option I showed you, I would pick over the Mingren 910 Plus. It just really isn't a very impressive knife, all things considered. I'm happy to own it. I'm not going to part with it because I think it has some significance for this particular field of knife collecting, the budget knife collecting world. But I want to be honest with you guys, it's not a very good knife. It's just, it has issues. There are things that I do like about it, but there's just so much that I don't like about it. So, that has been my review on the Mingren Model 910 Plus. Was it made by Sanrenmu? Was it just a knockoff brand? I really don't know. I don't know if anyone actually does know. But either way, I hope the video helped you to decide if it's worth hunting one down and putting it in your collection. So, hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. And until next time, peace, and I will see you later.